Welcome everyone to round 1 of May 14th Star Wars Unlimited Locals Night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry. And welcome to the store showdown. Yes, everyone's here playing for that coveted mall. Yup. It's odd to see that Secrets of Power's Queen Amidala's were going crazy for the Star Showdowns. I even got lucky to even make top 2 in that tournament. To go all the way to a mall where absolutely no one wanted to play for him. I mean, he's not a good legendary. What are we kidding ourselves? So, let's talk about what's happening right now. I completely forgot to record most of, I believe this is game 1. So, apologies. You're getting a very odd version start of Game 1. But don't worry, you do get a full version of Game 2. I didn't just cut this. I just happened to completely forget to press the record button before the players started playing the game, even though I swore I pressed record. But that's on me. So anyways, our 2 decks here, we have Sly Red versus Qui-Gon Force Green. Let's take a quick discussion of both of these decks. We've seen Sly more about plenty of times in this channel. There's really much else to explain, folks. I think we've seen Sly Red now a couple of times on the channel as well, but the whole gimmick of Sly More is action, pay 1 tapper. If there are 4 or more rested units on the board, they create a 0/2 spy token. She flips on 5, and then on attack you may deal 2 damage to an exhausted unit. So basically, your whole gimmick says that you're running aggressive style cards here to attack your opponent, and then basically have a bunch of rested units out so you can create spy tokens on the front side, and then on the back having those rested cards to be able to ping it for ping damage to everything so you can kill it off. So that's kind of the gimmick. It's basically a aggressive control strategy here. As we can see, like we have Stygian Prime right now under the Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is a common card to play with this coloration. So it states on it that while this unit is exhausted, it cannot restand, as well as your opponent's base takes 2 damage while that unit is exhausted. So it's a really nice way to kind of put it under something that's really big, keep it exhausted forever until your opponent upgrade hates it off, or in essence sometimes gets rid of it via the aspect of the unique unit rule to try to remove it as well, or in Qui-Gon's case, just bounce the unit back to your hand. But yeah, so that's kind of the gimmick, is that you're playing a pseudo control aggression style deck. On the other side, we got Qui-Gon Jinn Force Green. My love for Qui-Gon. I do really hope he gets some really good support in the next set. The previews are going up right now for Secrets of Power, and yeah, I'm really hoping we get some good stuff to play him, because I really like Qui-Gon. If we weren't playing aggressive negotiations, turbo decks out there, I definitely would have gone PQ season with Qui-Gon, because I just really like him, and I think he can do really, really good things in this format. He can definitely take many, many games. But just in an aggro format, with him needing to set up, he just doesn't feel great. But also, this is big card Qui-Gon. I think this is the one you had to give in like the specialty box I think we got for Christmas last year. But yeah, no, that's big Qui-Gon. So Qui-Gon states action, you may use the Force. If you do, bounce a unit back to your hand, and you may play a non-villainy unit that costs less than the card you bounce back to your hand for free. You get free recursion with his effect, and that's why I love him. So in essence, you can even bounce the Obi-Wan back to your hand, and you don't even have to play anything for free. The whole gimmick is that you just bounce something back to your hand, so you can bounce back things that have been upgraded, hated, like condemned or anything like that, and make your opponent worse off for all of that. So I don't know how far we are into Game 1 right now. It looks to be maybe about, oh, it has to be Resource 5 because Sly is out on the board state. So Qui-Gon is a flip of 6, and then on his backside, on attack, after he, after the attack ends, basically, you can bounce a guy back to your hand and then play yet again another non-villainy card from your hand for with a cost less than the unit you bounce back for free. So that's how kind of the gimmick of what Qui-Gon does, is that you're going to play a lot of different cards and you're going to bounce them back to play a lot of more cards. It's kind of a combo strategy where you bounce stuff back to your hand and then play stuff out from your hand. So you bounce back like the queen to play a 4, or you can bounce back some big unit and play another unit. The best gimmick I like to do with this is a lot of times if you can get it just right, you can play an 8 cost, bounce it back to your hand to play out like a Depot or a Qui-Gon to ambush onto the ground, and if they survive, you can bounce them back to then play another card. So it comes kind of this resource game where your opponent really can't, like, has to kill your stuff, otherwise you just bounce them back and play it again. While it does suck on his front side because you need to burn the force, when he hits his 6 backside, he's a really good leader on his backside. Again, I own his showcase. I really like him. Overall, he's just a fun deck. I think I showcased him pretty early into this format as well. Or at least my version of it. I don't know if this is the exact same. But anyways, let's jump into the remainder of round 1 before we jump into a full game of game 2. So let's see what happens in the rest of game 1. So for the rest of game 1 here, it looks like we are about to move into our resourcing for turn number 6, which means we do have the Qui-Gon able to jump out this turn. Again, Stygian will deal 2 damage, of course, to the base thing, while the Obi-Wan has to be arrested. Again, you could use the Qui-Gon to bounce back the Obi-Wan, so you get rid of the Stygian here. So we're going to have the Queen attack 𝐂𝐏_47 there, taking 2 damage because, again, there's no Naboo or officials right now on the board, so her to take damage. We're going to put another 𝐂𝐏_47 here, and then we're going to go for the Qui-Gon flip here. It's Qui-Gon! I don't know if that's in any way legal, but anyways, we're going to go for collateral damage to do 2 damage to the Queen and then 2 damage to the base there. That should have been, yeah, so it should be 3 damage to the base because 1 from �HK and then 2 from collateral damage there. So anyways, Qui-Gon's going to kill off, of course, the �ＨK there, taking 2 damage, and then we have the max rebo ban. On the regrouping phase, you create a credit token, which is very nice. Again, Qui-Gon can use credit tokens very good in this game because he's able to manipulate it and then take 2 damage off the Stygian. I'm not sure why we just didn't bounce back the Obi-Wan here. We're going to rest the max rebo ban because it is 3 or less. Your opponent does have to pitch. Their opponent does get to no, I think they're playing Interrogation Droid wrong again. I think Interrogation Droid states that you pitch a card out of your hand. I don't know. I know you pitch a card out of a hand. I just cannot remember if it's you pitch a card or if your opponent pitches a card. As we're just going to go for a pitch of a Yoda there. I'm guessing that I thought Interrogation Droid said my opponent pitches. My opponent chooses the pitch. Anyways, we're going to go for the Qui-Gon to kill off the Sly Red there on the ambush there. Again, Qui-Gon does not die, so we do not get to spin back the Interrogation Droid at the bottom of our top or bottom of our opponent's deck here. So anyways, we're going to go for a Storm Rider as well, giving himself, of course, a raid. I believe he gets raid 2 on the attack. Raid 2, and then we're going to swing Qui-Gon again, not using Qui-Gon's ability to bounce back the Obi-Wan there, which would get rid of the Stygian Prime. So again, not sure, but again, this player, I think, is knowing that they just came here to play some fun with, of course, the big card Qui-Gon, which I don't know if it's even legal at all. But hey, nothing much you can do about that one. Anyways, we're just going to go put down a card here that outside of my camera's view. So, hey, I guess we won't know what that card is or anything like that. Oh, I guess we do have a Force unit. So whatever it was a Force unit, allowing the Obi-Wan to gain Sentinel here. We're going to go for a Boba Fett. We're going to swing, and then we're going to use his ability to then deal 3 damage, killing off the Qui-Gon. The Qui-Gon does get its when defeated effect to go off because it does die. So we're going to go put BT1 on the top of the deck here. I still do not know what's outside of the playing field right now. Anyways, again, Boba states you can pay 5 for it and then pay 1 extra, and you can deal 3 damage to 1 ground unit. We're going to go swing the Obi-Wan over whatever that unit was, or the Storm Raider there, taking 2 more damage as well. And again, the Obi-Wan does have, of course, Sentinel there for whatever was played that was a Force unit. So anyways, I'm not sure again why. Oh, it's Ahsoka. It's the Ahsoka that pitches a, when played, your opponent can pitch a card out of their hand and it do rest a unit. So that was Ahsoka there. Anyways, we're going to have the Boba Fett. We're going to pay 1. We're going to kill off the Qui-Gon Jinn here with the remaining 3 damage, knocking it out. We could have easily survived that punch. And then we're just doing, we're just going to drop 1 more card here and basically show that we basically have the game because we have the Overwhelm here that can deal the remaining damage necessary to win the game. Not that it really matters. The Boba Fett can swing again, and this opponent just takes another 2 damage to the face because they decide not to bounce back. The Obi-Wan Y had the Stygian. But again, apologies for recording mid-game 1. So that means Sly Red gets to take game number 1. We're going to move into game number 2 and see if Qui-Gon can win. Can my boy win, or will he truly die on the boo? Welcome, folks, to game number 2. Let's see who's going to win it all, and I can promise you this is a full game, unlike starting recording in mid of game 1. Anyways, we're going to go for a youngling here, and then we're going to go for a BT1. Again, the youngling on play automatically generates the force, which is pretty nice, meaning that you don't really have to worry about creating it. But again, I sometimes would think that it's a little better to play a little bit in your mid game when you've already used Qui-Gon's force ability, and you just need to use it to bounce something. We're immediately going to go for the play of Obi-Wan Kenobi, automatically having Sentinel because he gets it when immediately play, because there was the Sultan was attempting to come down and kill off the youngling, but it's not going to work here. And then we're going to have the youngling attack the base here. I don't know why Sly's base has 11 damage right now on it. But anyways, we're going to then swing for 2 damage from the youngling. So if the force was burnt, we could have used it. Anyways, we're going to go for BT1. BT1 is going to be able to hit a red card here. So it is going to be able to go after the Obi-Wan there, killing it off. Again, maybe in the point you probably should have bounced back the Qui-Gon here to use his effect here. Again, the BT1 is on attack, so technically BT1 has to go after the Obi-Wan, but its on attack trigger goes first, so it kills off the Obi-Wan and then basically blanks its attack for the turn. It's not too bad. I mean, you do get rid of the Sentinel for all that. So anyways, we're going to swing another 2 damage from the youngling here. And then we're going to go for a Stygian onto the youngling here. This is where I would just say use the Qui-Gon's ability. Do not take 2 damage to your face every turn. Oh, that's not good. That's actually pretty nice. We're going to go for Vanestra Rao, and then we're going to pitch the top card. Unfortunately, that is not going to be a red card here. So we're going to swing 3 damage at the base here, generating the force. And this is where I would say just bounce back the younglings. Even though Qui-Gon does not require you to play a card that is less than 2. You can blank the effect there, so you can bounce and then basically blank the effect. So 2 more damage, of course, from the Stygian. We're going to go for the Interrogator Droid, and then that's going to be able to show the hand here again. I cannot physically remember what the Interrogation Droid's card text is, but I'm going to go quickly read it for you all. Alright, so I read the Interrogation Droid. Again, you can exhaust any unit. If the unit is a level 3 or lower, its controller discards 1 card from their hand. You, the opponent, do not get to see the hand. Now, again, we're very friendly here, so it's okay to be passed because we're very friendly between each other at our locals. But if you're watching this and you try to do that at like a PQ or any big event, you're going to get your judge called on you, and you're going to get a warning and potentially even a game loss if you try to take your opponent's hand. Technically your opponent doesn't have to give it to you. You can call the judge. So if you play it and you try to say that you need to take it, and if your opponent believes you for some weird reason, then be warned that if a judge sees that, that can be a warning or a PE minor, because you are actually breaking how the rules work with the Interrogation Droid there. But again, we're friendly here. I don't think you'll actually get a warning. Your opponent might call the judge to confirm everything. But so do be cautious not to actually do. If you read the card does what the card is written to do. And it says the controller of the unit that is rested discards a card, not the controller of the Interrogation Droid. At least that's how I read it to be. But, as I always know, the Interrogation Droid is being played a little wrong here. As I thought it was the controller that whatever unit you rested, whoever is controlling that unit has to discard the card. I know it because I've played it in a few different deck strategies. So anyways, now moving on from there, we're going to go for the Qui-Gon to burn the force here. We're going to bounce back to Vanestra Rao, then be able to play a Jyn Erso. Here, resting the BT1 instead of taking the experience token there. Again, remember, Qui-Gon does not care what you play. Qui-Gon only cares about one thing. Did you play for free a heroic unit? And Jyn's a heroic unit. That's why I really just like him. He has so much value. Like, you can bounce back that Jyn there and play that Jyn for another effect as well. So anyways, we're going to go for Sly Moore attacking the base here, and then using the effect of Sly Moore to then deal 2 damage. We also saw the front side effect of Sly Moore as well to pay 1 and tap herself to then create a spy token. Now, again, as a reminder, even though your leader is in rested position, they are still able to flip when they meet their condition to flip, which is very important. It's very important for a leader, specifically a leader like Poe Dameron, who may die on a fighter while he is upgraded to it. The whole aspect there is why he's upgraded to it. He can still flip if he dies when it's 5 resources, he can still flip and do all that. So anyways, we're going to then go BT1 to 2 damage to the base and then 1 damage to the 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐿 there. Anyways, we're going to flip the Qui-Gon Jinn here. I don't know if we took any damage from the Youngling Padawan having the Stygian. Anyways, we're going to then kill off the HK there with, of course, the Qui-Gon Jinn here. And then we're going to go for a Boba Fett to then deal 1 dam. They then pay extra, so basically coming out for 6, killing off the 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐿 there with the extra 3 damage points. And then we're going to go for a Depa Billaba to immediately kill off the Boba, and then we're going to go swing for the Slymore at the base, and then use Slymore's effect to kill the Depa Billaba, because again, it is rested. Oh man, Depa died, not to a bounty hunter. Well, technically she dies to clone troopers in canon. So anyways, we're going to take another 2 damage from the Youngling Padawan. I still don't know why we just haven't bounced the Youngling Padawan with the Qui-Gon Jinn, but again, I don't know much what this player does sometimes. Anyways, we're going to go for Qui-Gon to kill off the Slymore there, ambushing, but does not get its when defeated trigger. We're going to go for the Interrogation Droid. The Interrogation Droid does get to rest any unit on the board state here. It just, the discard only happens for a unit with 3 or less, cost 3 or less. So anyways, we're going to go for collateral damage. Collateral damage is going to be able to kill off the Qui-Gon Jinn there. It does kill off, so it does kill off that, and then we're going to have the, we had an accidental bounce of a card back to the hand off the Qui-Gon Jinn, where the Qui-Gon Jinn should have put it on the top of the deck. But again, even if it went to the top of the deck here, so that would have been a draw on it anyways. So we have a couple of misplays and questionable things happening in this game, but sometimes, you know, I gotta love the player on the right. They sometimes always seem to do questionable things in my videos. But yes, but anyways, they are always one of the best players. Anyways, we're going to go for Liberty, paying out a, and then we're going to see another Stygian here. This is where I would definitely use Qui-Gon to burn, bounce back the Stygian, bounce away the Stygian, then go for the Blade Wing to bounce back the Pad Wing, the Youngling, and then, yep, Blade Wing is allowed to bounce anything on the board state back to the hand, meaning that the other Prime goes away. And then we're going to go put down, when we have the Interrogation Droid was rested off of the Liberty, and then we're going to have a Stormcaller and then a BT1. I do not believe that that is basically near game here. I don't know what the Qui-Gon base is at all. But yeah, so I think they're going to correct that for us at 23. It doesn't really matter here because the Storm Caller, I believe, has Raid 2, so that's already 4 damage. Plus, then the rest of this board state here is just a little much, unless they have a Sentinel or a way to block out damage. Depa is going to then kill off the Storm Caller here. I mean, it's probably the biggest threat because it does have the Raid on it. Anyways, we're going to go for BT1. BT1 is going to pitch. Looks like we do have a BT1 being pitched out. We're going to take 1 more damage on Depa Billaba here. But actually, no, I guess, yeah. So even though, yeah, 3 damage is enough there to win out the game state for whatever the heck happened in this game. Again, apologies for pressing record mid-game once you guys didn't get a full game 1 of this. But again, we had some questionable plays. We let Stygians last way too long because apparently I guess we think Qui-Gon bounce back and play for free is mandatory. No, it's you may play a unit that costs less than the unit you bounce back to your hand, which would have saved you multiple turns of taking 2 damage points to the face. But yeah, questionable. And then we had illegal activations off Interrogation Droid because Interrogation Droid demands the player whose card was rested actually pitches the card, not the other way around. Your opponent just doesn't get to see your hand for free value. Don't try that at any PQs or big events. Don't try to ask your opponent for their hand. At that point, you are asking for free value out of seeing their hand when that is not what Interrogation Droid does. When it rests 3 costs or less. But again, we're very friendly over here, especially with the player on the right. But nonetheless, guys, I hope you enjoyed this gameplay altogether, even though you got not much of game 1, but you got a nice game 2. Well, let's not call it nice, let's just call it janky game 2. But nonetheless, guys, you let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. And while you guys are commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you know if my videos go live for you. And I'll see you here next time. I'm on Dragons TCG.